everyone, welcome to what is now known as Disney's Saratoga Springs. But it wasn't always Saratoga Springs. It used to be part of the Disney Village Marketplace, and when Walt Disney World first opened, the intent was to make this part of the residential community, to make this where people would come and stay. So you had the treehouse villas and some other rental type places that you would have in here where people would come and stay and do different things. And then over time they decided to get out of that business and they started the Disney Institute. And this area became known as the Disney Institute. And then since then, they've decided to make it a vacation club property, and now it's the Saratoga Springs Resort. But it's the same property with some renovations to it and some new things there. It's directly across from downtown Disney, Disney Springs, as you can see here. If you look across the way, you can see some of Disney Springs over there. So you can see the actual riverboat and some of the other amenities that they have over there. So we are actually in Saratoga Springs right now. And it's got an interesting history that I wanted to share with you because it really is something different, and it really does have a very strong historical context and harkens back to what Walt Disney originally imagined for the Walt Disney World Resort. So let's go back in history and have a look. When Walt Disney had the idea for the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, he was thinking about a place where people could live and work and be in a community and learn new skills and do some other things. So when the Walt Disney Company actually created the Walt Disney World Resort, they created this area called the Lake Buena Vista Marketplace that included some touches of that, even though it didn't go into much detail. But they did have some aesthetics in it, and they did create some properties where you could rent a room, like the treehouse villas that you see here, where you could actually engage and be part of something bigger. When Michael Eisner joined the company in the 1980s, he thought about corporate retreats. He'd been to the Chiquita Resort before, and that's in upstate New York, and they have basically this immersive type of experience where you can learn new skills, learn new interactions, how to get along with your teammates, outdoor activities, indoor activities, all these different things that you would think of as sort of an immersive sort of experience. And he wanted to build something similar at the Walt Disney World Resort. They called it the Disney Institute, and it would kind of go along with the idea of that. And actually, there's a promotional video that they created, complete with cheesy music.
There's a new kind of vacation at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. It's a vacation that immerses you in a special world, where you can try new things, where you can explore and discover, at a resort destination unlike anything you have ever experienced.
You won't believe what you can do. All the things that you can try.
It's on DRTV.
Look around and you will see all the things that you can be, all the ways that you can fly. Doing things you always dreamed of, or things you never dreamed you'd do. You'll be amazed when you get through exploring different sides of you. You won't believe what you can do.
Welcome to the Disney Institute, the new hands-on Disney experience where you design your own vacation, choosing from a variety of stimulating programs and adventures. Cook up a storm in culinary arts. Explore design arts. Choose from programs in animation, television and video, radio, photography, and showbiz.
And that's the general idea of what the Disney Institute is. So they built a number of buildings around the area where the treehouse villas were, on the outside of where the Lake Buena Vista Marketplace was. And the idea was to create this sort of community where people could come together, learn, grow, and do some different things, and try and challenge themselves. And it's sort of a corporate retreat kind of environment where you might learn something, learn how to interact with other people, and kind of enjoy yourself, but away from the theme parks. So the idea was for Michael Eisner to create this sort of immersive experience. Now remember, during his tenure, one of the things he wanted to do was keep people on Disney property so you would be there and you would be engaged for some period of time. Maybe you go to the theme parks for a couple of days. Maybe you engage in this sort of corporate retreat. And that way you would be there for longer and spend a little more money. So the intent was to get people engaged in some way and make them interested in it. So by having kids clubs and other things, you could certainly have people bring their families down and do the whole experience while you're there. So he had these different classes that he was teaching much like you would be on a college campus, but a kind of a shorter term. You would be there for a few days and you might actually learn some culinary skills, or you might learn gardening, or you might take some classes in canoeing and just get out there and do some different things. And there's a historical context to this because originally, when the contemporary resort opened up, one of the things they offered was golf lessons and tennis lessons. So they could get you out there and get people engaged. So this is not that far-fetched when you think about it. So the idea was let people learn, let them grow, let them do something fun. People might actually do musical things. They might take on comedy. They might actually do some stand-up. There's some interesting things that they might do. And then, of course, they also added a spa. This was the first full-service spa that Disney had on their property. So they could really bring people in and offer something that they had never done before. So it was sort of the extension of something that they were doing, and they were trying to get people to stay around and have some fun. So you had these different classes and different things people would do. And this video that you're seeing is sort of part of the promotional video where they were talking about all the different things. And there's a couple of clips I'd like to play from you from here. They have a lot of outtakes where they talk to people. And these are the most interesting ones.
We tell things into being.
Discover the art of storytelling and Imagineering from a Disney point of view.
It's about having fun and enjoying yourself. It's about coming and learning something you've never learned before.
The Disney Institute is right on the grounds of the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. You'll have quick and easy access to all the Disney theme parks and to an amazing world of Disney nightlife.
But unfortunately, it wasn't that successful. People didn't want to come to Disney World and actually partake in learning and actually do activities like that. They wanted to enjoy the theme parks. So in the late 1990s, they closed the Disney Institute as it was and turned that area into the Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa, and actually reused the property for that. Now, the Disney Institute itself still carries on today. They do some classroom training. It's kind of limited, and there are a few things, but they bring in corporations to come and learn, particularly about how Disney manages things. They also do some activities where they take people out into the field, particularly the theme parks, and show them around and tell them how they create the magic. So that's another way the Disney Institute still survives today. And of course, they do some amount of online training where they're teaching people how to do some of the things that they would normally teach through their classroom online. It's another way to reach out to people and get them engaged. So there's a number of different courses that you can sign up for a fee and actually learn more about how Disney manages theme parks and other things. The Disney Institute may have been a limited success among guests, but celebrities seem to really enjoy it. Michael Jackson reportedly came and took some classes and stayed there a couple of times. Oprah Winfrey, who was a fan of Disney, came and I believe taught some classes along the way, in addition to staying there. Whoopi Goldberg taught some classes and took some classes along the way as she was kind of enjoying what Disney had to offer. And then there's the story of Shaquille O'Neal, who came in and actually used the spa several times, though I don't know if he actually took classes. And there were many other celebrities, including James Earl Jones, who was there to actually teach. And then there were two presidential connections. W. Bush had visited the Institute shortly before it closed and spent a little time there. And then the other one is Bill Clinton. Bill was actually a huge fan of the Walt Disney World Resort. He had met with executives from the Walt Disney Company, including Michael Eisner, several times over the years. And of course, he has the distinction of being the first president to speak in the Hall of Presidents. So his connection to the resort can't be denied. Now, there's a story that Bill visited the Disney Institute in 1996. I was unable to track down any official record of him having gone to the Institute in that year, but we might be able to assume that he was there because Hillary had actually presided over the 25th anniversary celebration on October 1st, 1996, so it's likely that that's when he would have gone at that point. So we'll just guess that that's the case. And that's the story of the Disney Institute that became the Saratoga Springs Resort. I find the whole thing kind of intriguing because it was a very different thing that Disney was doing, and it never really worked out the way they wanted it to.